Well, we're back with episode 3. We made it to another one. I'm Kevin Ortiz.
Patrick Vega.
And I'm Josue.
And today we actually have a special guest, as you can tell. This is one of my good friends, but more than that, he's an entrepreneur. So let's kick off this episode.
What's been going on, man? What have you been doing?
What have I been doing? So this week was really getting prepared for the listing that I mentioned in last episode.
Yeah.
I was getting a lot of the paperwork done, and so we're hoping to get it on the market, hopefully within the next few weeks. I'm very excited about that.
Nice, dude.
What do you mean, bro? Why is it taking you so long to get it?
Well, it's mainly, the seller. He wants to kind of get his house ready for the market. So we really want to make sure that when we have it ready, it's curb approved, and it's clean, and it's tidy. That way when someone sees it, they can imagine themselves in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When the buyer comes in and views it. So
nice.
we want to make sure everything's ready to roll. No mistakes. We just want to be hitting the ground running.
Very
So,
cool.
I mean, this is the first time, obviously, we got a guest on the episode.
Yeah, I know. This is crazy. We haven't even let him talk.
I know. So tell me what went into your thought of having a guest on the episode.
Well, I was thinking.
When did you mention it to me?
I mentioned I think I told you yesterday. No, I'm just kidding.
This morning.
This morning. No, but I told him this week. Well, I told him while we were drinking on Saturday. We went to Pig Latin.
Oh, that's what happened. Is because you guys had a little too much
So
to drink.
we
and all of
were-
a sudden
we were
this,
at Pig Latin.
This sounded like a good idea.
I was like, hey, bro, you should hop on my podcast. I've been filming episodes with my buddy Patrick. And he's like, really? And then I sent him the link. And then I was like, hey, on Monday, I was like, hey, are you pretty serious about it? And he's like, sure, like, I'll do it.
No, but for real, this is something that we've been talking about.
Yeah.
As far as, I mean, the point of our podcast is hopefully to talk about real estate and personal finance, but also entrepreneurship and just owning your own business and what it takes to own your own business and really tell people stories and highlight your story and your business. So we will also want to be, besides having you on for entertainment purposes and having you on as a guest, we also want to be able to highlight you and your business and what you do. So take it away, Josue. I mean, tell us a little bit about what you're doing and how you got started, and we'll kind of interview you as we go.
So, I do stucco. It's basically the plaster, the cement part of the exterior part of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I started this business with my family like 5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then 5 years ago, it was just me and my family, and then because it's a family business, every so often, the family kind of gets a little bit greedy, or one part kind of weighs down the other.
Yeah.
So me and my brother kind of flipped and kind of just went our way. And so it was
So
a
it's
whole,
you and your brother now?
yeah, right now it's just me and my brother, but it was a whole spiral. It started just like a tornado kind of, and that's just how we grew. We started off with just a small compressor, our tool bags, and then everything just kind of started going where it needed to go.
How old are you now, Josue?
I'm 25 right now.
25. So when did you get started working at Stucco?
I started doing stucco when I was 20.
20. So you've been doing it for 5 years.
5 years.
But you've owned your own business for how long then?
My own business for 2.5. So half of the time I've been doing it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So and it's very interesting because not a lot of people do a lot of repairs, which is what we kind of are specific
Mhm.
with. We do all sorts of repairs for stone. If somebody wants to change the front of the house to stucco,
So you guys are not working new construction.
we do new construction, repairs, renovations, and stone.
Okay, cool. How do you get your clientele? Is it word of mouth? How are you advertising? Facebook? What do you do?
So we advertise a lot of the times through Facebook. We started off through Facebook, but over the years of we started kind of getting a flow of things, and once we got our Google business running, everything just started flowing in. Right now, we don't really advertise as much. We do videos. We have Facebook on Google and then on Instagram.
And you have a TikTok.
And
no?
TikTok as well.
You have to throw out your handles before we finish the episode.
Yeah, we'll have to put them on the screen or something.
Oh yeah, I'm just kidding. I don't know who it is.
Me.
My guys. Or him. Actually, him for now, but my guys will edit it eventually.
Yeah,
Yes, no shave. I've been doing all the editing. I'm just kidding.
I actually really like the last little clips that you were just showing me.
Mhm.
They're actually pretty solid. So.
Yeah, and I hope that we get some badass clips for the viewers. That way they can be like, dang,
Yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
Awesome.
I have some TikToks. Maybe you can put on, because I have a drone,
Yeah.
and the way we advertise is just a little bit over the top.
Yeah.
Not your regular pictures, because that's what everybody shows.
Yeah, of course.
You
Yeah,
know, and if
everybody.
you want something to grab somebody's attention, you got to do something.
And are you typically like showing off your finished product? Like, look at the work we did.
So I do a step-by-step process, like before and after, And so whatever the step is, whether it's a new build or a remodel, It shows step by step, and then on our Facebook, on our stories, we're always posting every day.
Yeah. So let's take it back a little bit for the high school kids coming out of high school thinking that they want to start their own business, or whether they're debating going to college and things like that. You were 20 years old when you got into the business. So coming out of high school, what did you do?
Coming out of high school, I started working. Well, I was working already at a restaurant.
Okay.
The restaurant is called Barbacoa, and
Shout out Barbacoa. That's good.
kind of.
And then
They fired me.
you got into stucco because your family was already doing it.
Yeah. So my stepdad, he was already doing stucco. My brother was already doing. He was a subcontractor, and he was just doing the prep. And then my brother took notice that my stepdad's doing this part of the process, and so my brother called me up and said, "Hey, let's go in on a family business together." And so we teamed up, I guess, and then over the time I learned everything,
But learned everything as far as how to do the physical work, right? How to do the physical labor. But not necessarily how to run a business, because I assume you're still learning how to run a business.
Yeah, I mean, nobody ever fully knows the whole process of something. There's always something new to learn.
Yep.
But, at first it was the physical work, and they say that if you can't really describe what you're doing, then you don't really know what you're selling.
Yep.
So once I knew the procedures and all that stuff, I was able to sell, whenever I talked about what the procedures needed to be, I could just... my mouth would just go ahead and
you alluded to problems running a family business, and we hear that a lot, like don't go into business with your family.
That's what I wanted to ask about right now.
So tell me a little bit about what led to, and you don't have to go obviously into the personal details, things like that, but tell me about the experience of starting a business with your family, and then all of a sudden you realize, like, this isn't working with my family, and having to maybe branch out and then take a step away with your brother, and now have to trust in you and your brother that the same thing is not going to happen.
Well, the connection I have with my brother is a little bit different. It's a brother bond, People who have brothers or any sort of siblings kind of understand, versus your parents, because when you're younger, your parents, you kind of have like an issue, like a clash with your parents when you're younger, and so I still hadn't stepped out all the way out of my nest. And so there were still clashes with my parents, how much I'm going to get paid, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
For sure.
But after I left with my brother, it was more of a, 50-50 no matter what, and if I'm slacking at one part of the job, I'll be like, hey, I need you to pick up the pace, and vice versa.
Yep.
So you guys hold each other accountable.
You got to hold each other accountable.
That's awesome.
You kind of got to understand that it's a business, and you have to kind of not mix it with family, but it's hard because you're mixing it with somebody you love, which is my brother.
Yep. How did that separation come about, as far as you guys decided, okay, this isn't working, let's go ahead and branch out on our own? What are those first steps that you got to take?
So the first step is you got to kind of, luckily here in Boise, there's a business that helps you out with all that, your EIN, your insurance. And so it's called El Centro. Shout out to El Centro, because that's where I go through my... and I'm sure you've heard of them.
El Centro offers all sorts of financial services in the market, bro.
And so we started off there. They kind of walked us step by step through our EIN number. And the lady that we got in that business, she was really well. She explained everything, how taxes work and all that stuff. And we were able to understand all that. So first, we took out a loan, $5,000 loan.
Yep.
With half of that loan, it was just to start the EIN.
Just to get the business registered, get things going.
The business registration. And then the second half of the loan was to start off with the insurance.
Yep.
And then you have an option to pay the insurance as the year goes by, because you don't know how much you're going to make, how much you're going to...
For sure.
And so that's just how we started. And then with Facebook, how I mentioned earlier, that's how we advertised at first.
Yep.
And you kind of go through a whole bunch of pages on Facebook. You go in, and then you just start posting, copy and paste on all of them.
Are you adding yourself to like Facebook groups?
Yeah, Facebook groups. Yeah.
I think you started one as well, didn't you?
Yeah, we started one just
what's
recently.
The name of that one?
Right now, it's called 208 Contractors Connect, and so basically that group is the same as all around, but there's services that people want you to pay for so you can get recommended, but we did it for free, so you can join, and then if you see a recommendation or if you see somebody or you need work done on your house, there's businesses there already, and it's free. You don't have to pay. There's no
There's no entry fee.
There's no entry fee.
Is someone like a lender like Patrick's able to join and like a real estate agent?
Yeah.
Right on. That's awesome.
That same strategy works really well in our business actually.
Yeah.
If you're
Creating a group.
creating a group and being involved in those Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I mean, there's all sorts of real estate groups on Facebook. You get in and be involved in as many as possible.
Yes.
But be active. You can't just be a part of the group.
Yes.
You got to be active.
You got to
be posting on. You got to provide value to the group as well. You
100%.
can't just exist in the group and like read what everybody else does without contributing to the group. Contribute to the group, and good things are going to come out of it.
I agree. I've actually joined a few national groups within my brand's franchise, and I was able to get a referral that didn't work out in the end, but I was able to get a referral from an agent across the country because he saw my profile in one of these Facebook groups. And so that's the power of it. You get referral business and word of mouth, and you can get your name out there.
How quickly did you guys go from starting off the business to truly starting to generate some clients and start to build that clientele?
So when we first started the business, a lot of the times we with people who've had a business for a longer time, they've always said it takes 5 years. The first 2 are to invest. The third one is kind of to get used to the flow, and then the fourth one, the money starts coming in, but you don't know how to level that, how to use the money, and the fifth one is you've already got all 5 steps, and then it just starts flowing in on the 5th year.
Yep.
And it's a little bit smoother ride.
So you feel like you're a year, 2.5, almost 3. You're almost at that point where you feel like this is going to take off and maybe start making some money.
Yeah, so last year we had a good amount of a gross income, and this year we're expecting to go 50% more because we've been growing like over like 100% every year. But obviously, the bigger you get, the smaller the percentage every year.
Yep.
And so right now we're expected to make more and to learn more from what's about to come.
In that growth, do you think it's mainly coming because you finally have enough word of mouth and it just keeps starting to spread? Is it growing because our economy and our market is growing and you just have more and more work around here? Like, what's behind the growth?
The growth, so it is a lot of word of mouth, and it's also a lot of advertising, you know. A lot of people don't know how I look, but just our logo right here,
Yep.
it's supposed to be something like a sharp logo, very formal, you know. And a lot of the times, every time we get to a job, I've heard of you guys, you know, and it's because we do such great work, and since we specify in repairs, there's a little bit of companies that do stucco repairs, and so they've already heard of us because we get recommended, and it's just perfect.
So tell us what went into the design of your logo. You mentioned your logo is a big component of brand recognition, and that's important for small businesses to kind of get behind.
Do you have a logo?
I actually do.
It's right here.
No. Hey, I'm going to blur that out just because I don't want...
I created a Patrick Vega mortgage logo when I first started, but they told me I couldn't use it for whatever reason.
It's a little bit different in like the real estate and also lending because we're tied behind a brokerage.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm talking about for entrepreneurs who are running their own businesses. What came into creating that logo? Like, did you hire someone, or was it something you created?
So our website and our logo, we created ourselves. The company, we always see little just peaks of houses everywhere.
Yeah.
And so we didn't want to copy them exactly. And so we kind of started looking online, and then we found this one. It was a little bit different. We altered it.
Yeah.
It had doors and windows.
Right
But
on.
to me, that was a little bit too much.
Yep.
So I took off the doors and the windows, and I just left the outline of the houses. And then the name of Stucco Firm, it was going to be called the Stucco Company. But once we got to register it, they told us it was already taken.
Yeah.
I was going to say, that seems like it would be
That
a common name
yeah.
that would
It
already
sounds
take
pretty
a
good.
stucco company.
And so what I did in that moment, I was like, what's another word for company?
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch started popping up, and I just kept writing Stucco this, Stucco that, and Stucco Firm kind of kicked it. You know?
And is the stucco company a local company around here?
Yeah, it's a local company.
They're from here too.
Oh, which one? The Stucco?
The stucco company, yeah. If I
don't know.
They
It might
don't do
be.
work in our valley.
I don't know. I've seen a whole bunch of other Stucco companies, but I haven't seen that one here.
Got it.
So I don't know if it's in Idaho or if it's in...
So, but when somebody's gonna Google you though, they don't accidentally come across the stucco company and call
No,
them first.
no, because it's called Stucco Firm. You know, if you Google us, our office is just down the street.
Really, from here?
Yeah.
Nice.
Cool thing too with firm, you get kind of a sense of professionalism. You get a sense
Yeah.
of like a strong sense of like ownership and professionalism. So
And
that's
you
awesome.
got little like subdivisions which is cool because that's what we do. You know, we got new repairs, new homes, and a whole bunch of other stuff.
Why do you guys have an office space? What kind of work are you guys doing in an office space? I would imagine more from a stucco pump. You mean like a warehouse. You keep your supplies and you keep your trucks and your like. What do you need an office for?
So the trucks and then the office and then the warehouse. The warehouse is just our house. So we have space in our backyard where we put our scaffolding and whatever's left over. And then the trucks, if we ever need a kind of rendezvous at a certain point, especially here in Eagle, because we get a lot of jobs here in Eagle, you know.
That's where the money's at. I'm just kidding.
I mean, it's not wrong.
It's not wrong. But we're like, all right, let's meet at the office, and then from there we'll kind of go wherever we need to go.
Right on.
So if this group needs to go this way and this one needs to go, you know, at least we group up here.
But that's the meeting point every morning.
That's the meeting
office.
point, yeah. And then for office work, whenever they're doing stuff, you know, and then we get a call and I need to do a bid or an estimate, you know, I can be on my car, but because there's so many, I'd rather sit somewhere comfortable and go ahead and get my space like this, you know.
Yeah, so you mentioned you and your brother are the main components of this business. So who is the administrative mind and who is the at the job site mind? Or do you guys basically take roles, or do you guys just blend together?
We blend in together. So sometimes I get calls. He mostly gets the calls, but we go together because, you know, one person can't just. There's going to be something that's missing, you know.
And by call you mean like a new client call.
A new
client
client
calls you
client.
and says, "Hey, I have this job that needs to be done."
I need this job, and so we both go together. And if he's talking, you know, if I see that he's missing something, or if it's vice versa, then we go ahead and get those statements addressed.
Nice.
So
so we actually just lost a lot of the video we were shooting, but it's cool. But what we were talking about, and it was a great conversation, it was why we started in this business. And so Patrick was leading us off with some good topics.
I was not leading us off. You took the first crack at it. We were talking about.
Oh, that's right. Well, first off, it started with Patrick saying, you know.
He said, "Why don't you tell us something?"
Yeah,
there
yeah,
we go.
yeah.
Okay,
We started off with Patrick saying we're all broke ass fools, but we started.
Started bottom, now we're here.
No. Okay, so tell me further.
Yeah.
We're all
All right,
we're all first generation
First
here.
generation.
Our folks worked. Your folks worked to build their own business and set themselves up and truly set themselves apart from where they started.
Correct.
And you saw that growing up, and now you're at a point where you're also trying to start your own business and grow from there. Tell me a little bit about that experience growing up and how that has shaped you and made you want to start your own business and be an entrepreneur.
That's an excellent question, man. I
only ask excellent questions, bro.
Well, sometimes. Well, as the oldest child, I got to kind of see the entire come up of their, you know, from my dad working for someone else and transitioning in the 08 to 2010, you know, rough market, you know, not having the most consistent work to taking the risk and starting his own business. So I've gotten to see over 12 plus years of growth as far as staying consistent, staying motivated, and building a business block by block.
And he owns a painting company.
Yeah,
right?
and so it's a painting company here locally in the area, AIO Painting, and I was able to see the growth from nothing to having consistent business and having clientele that trust you and believe in you and will recommend you.
Shout out AIO Painting.
And so the grind really motivated me to start something on my own. And so I chose real estate because I had a little bit of a background in it just from working at a real estate brokerage and seeing that that's something I'm interested in, real estate combined with helping people take the next step financially towards the biggest investment of their life. That to me seemed like a recipe for success. And I really like helping people get to that point. And so it has driven me, and I see their motivation, so it also motivates me. I want to make it as well.
Your folks have also done some stuff in real estate too, though,
Yeah.
right? Like, they don't work in real estate, but they own real estate. They're real estate investors.
Yeah, correct. And so they've been able to, you know, have some rental properties. And so now that I'm an agent, it's kind of nice to have their son be able to help them. So I'm very blessed to have seen the transformation they've done, and I'm happy to help them out with whatever they need.
Josue, tell me a little bit about yourself. I mean, obviously you started with the family, but before that, were your folks already owning their own business?
So before that, no, my mom was working like 2 jobs. She's always been working 2 jobs, you know, because our family, you know, kind of started from the bottom, you know, and she's always worked 2 jobs, and I've always tried to do better, you know, to help my family out in the future, you know, and so I've always done sports to kind of help myself be a little bit more on
Disciplined
and all that stuff. And so not until I graduated high school, I kind of wasn't really sure what I wanted. You know, I was going to school to be a chiropractor.
Really?
For like a year. and then I heard it takes like 10 years to get there.
You're like, muff that.
No, like, I don't know. If I joined that business that my brother talked about,
Yeah.
in 5 years, where could I be?
Yep.
And so I decided to take that jump. I dropped out, and then I went with my family.
Yep.
And then here we are.
I mean, people don't understand either, though, that you can make just as money in the trades that you can go into being a chiropractor. Like, you can make just as much money owning your own stucco business.
Yeah, and it's just like it doesn't matter about the tool; it's how you use the tool.
Exactly.
And so if you know, or if you have somebody that can guide you, and you're doing everything correctly, step by step, and you're patient, and you're not kind of rushing things, things are gonna come no matter what.
Yep.
And I think that's with anything. You rush, getting to your job, something bad's gonna happen. But if you take your time, you're gonna make it on time. But you just gotta plan it out. You gotta wake up earlier. A whole bunch of other stuff like that. So
yeah. My story's a little bit different. I didn't have entrepreneurs really in my family. My folks. I mean, we grew up pretty poor, to be honest. I mean, my dad worked at Simplot his whole life. But we were a family of 6, bro. So we were supporting a family of 6 on a $40,000 salary, basically. And so recently, I was working the same job for 13 years. I was already in a job that I could make 6 figures at. It was paying well, but I had been there for so long that I really wanted to bet on myself, man. I wanted an opportunity to, make real money in my life. No joke. Like, I was like, 6 figures is cool, but what's cooler is double that.
Right, 100%.
You know what I mean? So I wanted an opportunity to just do something different and be able to bet on myself and change the trajectory for me and my family and hopefully the future of my kids and stuff like that. So that was kind of why I made the leap.
And what's been your favorite part about just being in the entrepreneurial side of this?
Man, it's tough because my favorite part, I guess, is I'm betting on myself. At the end of the day, nobody's telling me what to do. Not that anybody was telling me what to do in my last job either, but if I don't come to work, no one's going to tell me nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody says nothing to me if I don't come to work. But if I don't come to work, I got that little voice in the back of my own head saying, "Hey,
get your ass out."
Exactly. How you gonna pay?
I feel that
how you gonna pay the bills, bro? Like,
yeah.
you just gotta get after it. And sometimes you gotta sink or swim. You gotta put your feet to the fire a little bit and just you have to make it, bro. You have to make it.
You have no other choice but to do it, or else, it's a choice. Anything's a choice, You either step on the gas, or you let go and you slow down,
I had the safety net for a little while because at first I was like, well, maybe I'll work both jobs for a little bit because I was like, I want to have a little safety net just in case. And I was like, you know what? F that, bro. Like, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it the right way. So I saved up enough money. I got myself to a point where it wasn't gonna hurt if I didn't make a paycheck for a while because I didn't make a freaking paycheck for a while. You know what I mean? Like, there was 6 months went by where I wasn't making a single paycheck. So if you're not in position to have some savings, to have a little bit of reserve funds, you probably can't do that. You know what I mean? But put yourself into position, have a little bit of reserve funds in your bank account, make that choice, rip off the Band-Aid, and you got to go for it. And now we're set to have a really good year. So
yeah, and I respect that because that took a lot of resiliency and some huevos, to take that bet on yourself because, a lot of people don't do that and they live their life wondering what they could have done if they would have just taken that step.
But I get it. I don't want to take anything away from like that person who's struggling with the 9 to 5 and struggling to pay their bills and you know what I mean? Because it's tough. It's
very
tough when you're only making enough to pay for rent out there. Rent in our market is what, $2,000 on average right now. What is the do you don't rent anymore? Do you? Or you still rent?
I don't because I'm trying to get my own place, so I moved back in with my parents.
Josue, do you rent?
Yeah, so I live by myself.
Let's see how much
you rent right now.
Yeah.
What are you renting and what do you pay?
So I have it's like 800 square feet, but it's got a nice yardage.
Okay.
And so
800 square foot apartment. It's a house.
Apartment.
Okay.
And what are you paying right now?
Right now I'm paying like $1,800
for an 800 square foot apartment. 1 bedroom, 2 bedrooms.
2 bedroom.
2 bedroom, 800 square foot apartment for $1,800. Where at?
In Boise.
It's in Boise. Yeah, it's in Boise.
Okay, but still,
it's still very expensive to rent.
$1,800 in Boise for an 800 square. That's the. one of the frustrating parts when I talk about with first-time homeowners and we're looking at like a place that's 1,300 square feet and they're like, the house isn't big enough. It's not exactly what I want. The cabinets aren't the color I want. And I'm like, bro, this is your first house. Yeah. This is your starter home. This is not where you're going to be 10 years from now. Look at where you're living right now. You're living in an 800 square foot house. If we move up to a 1,300 square foot house, all of a sudden you got extra room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And just like I said, you got to kind of go up slowly. Yeah. You gotta let it naturally take its place.
Yeah.
And going back a little bit to like a motivational part, I noticed that a lot of the times, people who are super smart, if they're not doers, doesn't matter if you're smart or not.
Yeah.
You have to be a doer. I've seen people and I've seen millionaires. As I'm working, like you kind of talk to them and they're not like I don't want to say dumb. But they're doers. And so the moment they do something and they put their mind to it, that's when you become successful.
For sure. Yeah, you can learn as much as you want, but if you never put it into action,
exactly.
what good is it?
100%.
And if you're always hesitant to take that next action, you're always planning. You're always in the planning stage. Planning can only get you so far.
Yeah, you just got to do it.
You just got to do. You got to have a plan. Sure.
It's okay to be there for a little bit.
Yeah.
But you have to. You
got to jump.
Yeah.
You got to jump.
And that was part of the reason why we created this. I mean, this is not really just to BS on. It's just to give valuable lessons and just to try something. And if it doesn't work, crash.
You just don't want to be there.
And to get you to jump too, I got to get you to jump into this game.
Yeah, no, and we mentioned that last episode. Kevin, you got to jump. Kevin, you got to jump. But we talked about also part of the reason in my hesitation is we want to get the house. That way we can, after that maybe see.
Speaking of Josue, how are we going to get Josue into a house?
Josue, what are we going to, and him and I have talked about this in private, but, if he's willing to share, I mean,
obviously we don't got to share too many personal details, but.
What does your time frame look like? Are you wanting to get a house or what's kind of your process behind that looking like?
I think in the next 3 years I'll be able to afford a house. But if I don't need a house just yet, I guess I can start with a small one. And then, as I meet somebody, grow a family and all that stuff, I can move up, And I know I got this real estate agent right here.
But you're 25 in our market paying $1,800 a month. Luckily, you have a job that pays well because you were able to open your own business and do your own thing. But there's a lot of people out there that $1,800, I mean, that's a whole paycheck. If not more than the paycheck. They might have to earn two paychecks before they can pay that rental payment.
And I'm blessed that I was able to find this path.
Yeah.
In my life, because I know a whole bunch of other people don't have the opportunity to.
For sure.
To start a business or a bank that's gonna loan them $5,000.
Yep.
And we help a lot of people the same way he kind of wants to help out people, and he has been already. We've been doing the same with a lot of our employees who we're very flexible with them. We're on their ass if they need to be.
You kind of have to,
What does labor cost for your business right now? I can't imagine that after we went through COVID and the way our economy is in our market that you're getting away with paying anything less than $20 an hour.
No, so all of our guys, the ones who start with us, get paid at $18 an hour.
No experience.
No experience.
That's still pretty decent. No experience at $18 an hour starting off, like that's pretty decent.
And then it can go up to 36. And some are hourly, and they kind of want to see, whether they want to jump to be a subcontractor or not. And so we give them the opportunity, like, hey, let's do this wall. You want to take a shot at it? Subcontract, I'll pay you cash this one time.
Yep.
And to see if you truly are capable right now to do what you want. We give them a fair shot, and sometimes they kind of realize how much goes into being a business owner, and they're kind of like, we're always trying to help them, and it helps them open their eyes a little bit more.
What's a bigger cost to the business, labor costs or the cost of goods?
Material costs.
Material costs for sure.
And are you saying that
it depends? Because we do when it's a new build, it's materials. If it's a repair, it's labor. Because with repairs, it's a smaller amount of materials that you need.
Yep.
But it's more time that you need to focus on the job.
And what's a better bottom line, repairs or the new builds?
Repairs.
Repairs for sure are better to the bottom line.
Yeah, because let's say I do 2 houses that leave me a profit of $2,000 per house, which is $4,000 a month. That's not a lot.
Yeah.
But if I'm able to do 20 repairs.
Yep.
That leave me $500.
Yep.
That's gonna bring that's gonna leave me a lot more.
Yep.
Less physical stress.
Yep.
And a little bit more mental stress because you gotta time it more with the with the homeowners and stuff.
But you're not doing those physical repairs yourself.
Not anymore.
For the most part, you're taking those calls, you're scheduling it out, you're sending your guys out to do the job.
And if there's a question that our guys can't handle, or there's a procedure they don't understand, because I took my time to understand the processes when I first started doing stucco, I can go ahead and come by and teach.
Yep. For quality control.
And one thing you need to do if you want to grow a business is you have to be able to teach. You have to have patience.
Training. One thing that I'm hearing, and based off what you're saying, you're sharing a lot of great information. One thing that I'm hearing is you've been scaling at your rate that's working for you, and you're scaling properly. And with each time you scale, you're understanding, you're fully diving into it. That's awesome, man. Good job.
Like this last year in the summer, in 2024, we had an opportunity to have like 10 different jobs open at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was kind of difficult. My brother was able to we were able to partner up with a guy named Gilbert, and we were able to move around and hit all those jobs in perfect timing, perfect scheduling, and it was the first time we got that busy.
It's a good problem to have.
Yep. And this upcoming year, I'm sure we're gonna get busier. But now that we kind of seen how it goes, like I said, you gotta grow and let it grow with you. You can't outgrow the process.
At what point did you and your brother decide, like, dang, this is too much work for just the two of us, we're going to have to hire our first person? Like, what did that first hire look like?
So the first hire is my brother's best friend.
Okay.
His name is Tito.
Yeah. Does he still work for you?
Yeah, he works with us. And he started off as an owner, but it was a little bit more stressful for him. And so he kind of left for like 3 months. But then he came back, we had a talk, and we're like, all right, you're not going to be an owner, but because you started with us at the very beginning and the most difficult part, you're going to be a foreman, And so he still has his benefits of hanging out, chilling, or, hey, can you deliver this? And he takes it for us, And so we still give him the respect that he deserves, And
but past that then, so you had one guy, and then past that, how did you start to scale?
It's a little bit weird because you find some guy, you train him, and then he leaves, and that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
That happens in the 9-to-5 world as well. Like people go job hopping all the time,
and which is fine, but it kind of sucks for us. So we have to train until somebody sticks and kind of understands the vision that we're having, and somebody who can see that what this business is gonna be.
And what you're doing right there is you're creating a culture, and when you create a culture that is cultivating and that is thoughtful, people are going to want to stick around to see the growth. And so it sounds like you're doing that, and the people who don't stay, I mean, it's their own personal reason why.
Yeah,
that's awesome,
and that's okay, But we want to make it because every time I talk about the business, it's always we. It's never my employee. It's us. We do this, we do that. It's never a hiree. And so that's how I see my business, because we're growing together. Without them, there's less likely for me to grow. You know what I mean?
How many employees do you have now? What do you scale to now?
Right now it's winter, so it's a little bit more difficult, but we have 4.
Okay.
4 employees, but in the summer we have up to this last year we had like 3 groups of 10.
Do you have to lay them off then during the winter time?
So the groups that we hire in the summer, they're subcontractors on their own.
Got it. Okay.
So we make a deal. Hey, you're gonna get this job. Blah blah blah. So they're not necessarily tied to us like our employees.
Yep.
The ones that do subcontract work for new builds, this is the job. Can you do it? Yes or no? If they can do it, they do it. But if our employees are hourly, they only do repairs.
Yep.
Because repairs hourly, that way I can track how many hours. It's a lot easier to track those kind of things with repairs. And plus, a lot of people don't know how to do repairs. So the guys that are hourly know what they're doing because we've trained them personally.
Yeah. Kevin and I talked about this last time for our personal goals. Now that we're in 2024 and we're starting off the year.
2025.
2025, yeah.
Come on, bro.
Now that we're in 2025, he and I talked about this last time on our as far as our own businesses go.
I'm gonna top this out.
But for 2025, what are your goals? What's your growth plan look like for 2025?
2025 is just being able to have a little bit more connections and taking a step further and having more helpers who I can rely on.
And how do you how at the end of the day are you going to measure that? When you get to December and you're looking back on the year and you say, okay, did I meet my goals? Like, what's the measurement that you're looking at? Is the amount of money you made? Is the amount of new contracts that you got? Is it the level of the business that you're at? Like, how many employees you have? Like, what's going to be the measuring stick when we come to December that you look back and you say, damn, that was a good year?
I think it'd have to be so how much we made, because I can't make money if I don't have the team to make it.
Yep.
You know, so the more I make, and I'm like, all right, I have the team. You know, I already know the way I treat the team, so I have no worries if they're gonna be mad or not. So if the business makes more money, you know, it's better for them, because we actually charge a good amount of money to do a project, not to be greedy, but so I can take my time to do the job correctly.
Well, yeah, you pay for quality.
And,
You pay for what you get.
And so if I'm able to do more money, I'm able to pay my guys more, and that's how I know it's a good year.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a great goal.
What can we do as we wrap this up? What can Kevin and what can we share with the viewers? What can we do to help your business grow? What's your perfect client? What can we do to make sure we get your name out there and really help your business succeed this year?
So one thing that I know for sure can help, because I've already done it with a different real estate company. So whenever you guys do, if you guys sell a house that's stucco, and you already see some damages, before you sell it, you can contact me, or you can tell the homeowner who's gonna buy it and be like, hey, this is what I'm noticing. I have a connection. If you want to fix it, this is your guy.
That's a great avenue, actually. You probably should have a bunch of real estate agents in your pocket in that regard.
And that's actually funny he mentioned that, because that's part of building a team that you can trust. And so for me, I have someone that I like for lending, title, painting, inspectors. I have a stucco person. And so that's the way I view is like having a strong network. That way you can be like boom, 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 connect you. So yeah, no, that's a great piece of advice.
Yep. Well, Kevin, take us away, bro. That was a good episode.
Shoot. Well, we appreciate Josue for coming
Guest
on.
number one?
Guest number one, hopefully of many.
It's
but
the OG.
Listen, you were the first one for a reason. I'm glad you came on here and shared your background, what makes you tick, and some awesome advice that you gave to our viewers. So, you know.
What grinds my gears?
No, not that time. Not that time. No,
I thought it was fun, though. I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it was good. It was good.
But you've been a blast to have on, so I appreciate you.
Have another person to talk to and unpackage their story.
Yeah.
And see what lessons they can share with everybody else. So
yeah, let's wrap it up.
Well, cool. All right. Well, deuces.
Peace out, guys.
Dale.